Well, here we are, vlogging from a cemetery again. We're at the gravesite of Johnny and June Carter Cash, and we didn't include it in the original Nashville video, well, for a couple reasons. A, because they're at a different cemetery, which is in Hendersonville. It's about 20 miles north of Nashville, and the reason I think that they're buried out here is they got a lot of family out here. June's mom is out here, and then June's sister is out here. A lot of the Kilgore family is out here. Yes. Merle Kilgore, he wrote a lot of songs for Johnny Cash and Hank Williams Jr. And so a lot of his family, a lot of his family is out here. And June and Johnny had a place out here. They had like a lakeside, so they lived in Hendersonville. So that's another reason I think that they're buried here versus in town with a lot of the more prominent. They just want to be closer to family.
They had roots here.
A lot of them died way before June and Johnny did. So since their family were already out here, I think that's why they opted to come out here. Because initially I think they were talking about putting them at the other place.
Yeah.
And then they opted to come here. Or their family members who are still surviving opted to come here.
Yeah.
Which we got to meet Joanne Cash.
Yes.
At the museum, the Johnny Cash Museum. Yeah. We went there on September 12th.
Yeah.
Which is the anniversary of the date that Johnny died. And so she was there.
Yeah.
And she was meeting people and taking pictures and telling stories about Johnny.
She looks just like him.
Yeah. Another reason that we did not include Johnny and June Carter Cash in the Nashville video was because next week we're going to be in Northeast Arkansas, which is about an hour from where we're staying is Diaz, Arkansas. And that is where Johnny's boyhood home was. That's where he grew up, was Diaz, Arkansas. That's going to be in this video. And I don't know what order we're showing it in, but you might have already seen it. Maybe you'll see it here in a second. But we're going to show some of that if we can. Unfortunately, they wouldn't let us take video in the Johnny Cash Museum. And it was totally coincidental that we were in Nashville on September 12th, on the anniversary of his death. Johnny Cash died of what they call respiratory issues, but everybody thinks, including me, that he died of a broken heart. Because June died 4 months earlier, almost 4 months to the day. She died in May 2003, and then he died in September 2003. And if you've seen the story, or you've watched the movie Walk the Line, or you know anything about Johnny and June, they were just
one.
Yeah, they were meant to be. And so when Johnny went shortly after. His health went south really quick, and then he was gone. So, and I like to think that we have that kind of Johnny June thing going on. They like to be together. You know, some couples have to get away, have to take breaks. They're better with breaks apart. But we, just like Johnny and June, we work together.
Yeah, we worked for years, worked together.
And we have just spent a ton of time together.
Rode motorcycles together.
And now, just like Johnny and June, we're touring together.
Touring.
It's the Wayward Wags tour. But anyway, I just think it's cool. I feel kind of connected to the Johnny and June story, because I feel that that's kind of the type of relationship that we have. We're in the middle of nowhere, Arkansas.
Yeah, literally.
Diaz, Arkansas, actually. There's a good reason we're in Diaz, Arkansas. It's the boyhood home of Johnny Cash. There's not a ton of stuff here, but it's very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
And ton of history. And again, they wouldn't let us video inside the house, which sucked. Everybody's real.
You don't want to sell it.
Yeah.
And you make money from it.
I ain't gonna sell it.
They don't know that.
But yeah, so we'll show some still pictures and stuff. But it was a cool little house. Had some original stuff in there from when Johnny Cash was a boy, and some of his mom's belongings, and you know, you can see where he slept and where he pumped water, because they didn't have running water. They didn't have electricity. They had like the stove.
Yeah, for the what do you say, first 10 or 11 years they did not have running water.
Yes, they had to go out and pump the water, or go collect water from the creek and bring it back home and boil it down. And it was just interesting to see the living conditions from back in 1936, 37 time frame. And so Johnny Cash's family bought a plot of 40 acres of land, and out there now it's completely cleared and it gets farmed still. Yeah. But when they bought it, it was not cleared. No. Totally swampland, trees, and part of the deal with Roosevelt's land deal was to sell off these plots, 40 acres each, and then you got to clear it, farm it, pay your farm fees, and you get a place to farm and live. But lots of hardships with floods and droughts and all kinds of crazy stuff that they had to go through, and just they were not well off.
They paid $2,000 for that.
Yeah, for the whole place.
Yeah.
For the land and the house and everything, a couple $1,000s, and then we see a check inside of here. Yeah. That Johnny got paid when he did Folsom Prison Blues, which is just over $2,000, which is funny because, you know, it's not a lot nowadays, but back then he made enough on one song that could have bought his whole farm. So in his eyes, I'm sure that was where he was like, I've made it. Yeah. I made enough on one song that I could buy the whole farm, which was cool. Another cool thing out here is they did a couple of scenes out here from the movie Walk the Line. Yeah. The scene where Jack, who's Johnny's older brother, was in the circular saw accident that eventually killed him. They shot that scene out here at the little corner country store place over here, and then they shot some more down there by the creek, he said, where they did some fishing and stuff like that. So it's just it's a really cool place. Lots of history here. If you're a Johnny Cash fan, I would say, you know, it's at least worth stopping through if you're in the area. But there's nothing close by here.
No.
You know, but for me, being a big Johnny Cash fan, it's cool, and it was cool to see everything at the museum in Nashville, and it was cool to see his grave and June Carter's grave and all their family out there. And I think what connects me to Johnny Cash is that, you know, just the way he talked and the way he did his music, and not well off growing up, and just had a respect for hard work and work ethic,
greater appreciation.
Yeah, and for the stuff that he had,
life and
it didn't seem like he took anything for granted.
Yeah.
And he just appreciated everything that he had, and he appreciated family and
simple life.
And the other thing was, he was a very patriotic guy.
Yeah.
He did a couple of songs. I think one was a ballad about the flag, and then, you know, he served in the Air Force. His dad served in the Army.
Brother was Navy.
Yeah, brother was Navy. So, I mean, a lot of ties to the military. And the reason that Johnny joined the military, he was pretty open about that. So that was the only way to get off the cotton farm. So he joined the Air Force. But even when he made it big, he still made it a point to be very patriotic. He visited the troops in Vietnam. He did a song about visiting the troops in Vietnam. And when we got married, you weren't really a big Johnny Cash fan.
I honestly could say I probably didn't know who he was.
That's crazy.
I didn't grow up to country music.
Yeah.
That was not my family's choice.
Yeah.
So I didn't know probably not till my junior year, I think, in high school. I started sophomore, junior, started listening to country music.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, I was always listening to Johnny Cash, and now Leslie even has some Johnny Cash on her playlist.
I do.
My, how you've grown. And then behind us we got the town hall, and then the old movie theater. The old movie theater is where Tommy worked. Yeah. And in there's an old projector that he used to run upstairs, and actually on the inside of the lid there, he scratched his name in there, and it's still there and preserved. So that's cool to see that they lived and worked here. And I guess next door where the visitor place is now used to be the old pop shop where the teenagers would come and hang out, watch a movie, and then hang out at the pop shop. And so back in the day, that's just what you did. But it's cool to see they got pictures of all that stuff in there. And Dias is still a really small little town, but a lot of history. And even though they only had a couple of little rooms in there, we were in there for a long time.
We were.
Because we were reading everything and watching all the videos. Because it's just interesting to see how families survived back then. And this is just the story of one little town.
One colony.
One little colony, and so there's stories all across the United States like this. And just so happened we get to learn the story because Johnny Cash came from here. Otherwise, you wouldn't know about stuff like this, you know? But it's cool. So not only country music history, but just history, United States history, and how things were back then. It's just interesting to me.
It is.
I like reading about it and knowing about it, and it gives you a deeper appreciation for what you got.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because you're like, man, we are blessed. We have no worries, not like they had.
No.
Even when you get in a little bit of a pinch financially, it's nothing like what they had. I mean, they had to wait till harvest time to get new shoes, and you know, just clothes, and they were making clothes out of flour sacks. And man, it's just crazy. What we see as a hardship now versus what they saw as a hardship back then is just drastically different. And so when you're scrolling through your apps on your phone today, and you're getting your Frappuccino from Starbucks, and you have to sit in a little bit of a traffic jam, it's not that bad. You know, you're not clearing 40 acres
Swamp.
of trees and through swamps, and then they had to drag it out on like horse and carriage back then because they didn't have anything. So it wasn't like you just put it all on a big truck or pick it up with a machinery, and you're hauling it up, you know, manpower. And that's why they had a bunch of kids back then, you know, to help out on the farm, help do that stuff. And so no one was above it. Everybody helped, and everybody picked cotton, and it's just crazy, man. But we had a great time out here in Dias, and we had a great time at the museum in Nashville, the Johnny Cash Museum. We had a great time out at the seeing all the history out there at the cemetery. And we hope you guys enjoyed what we've been able to show you for Johnny Cash stuff. And we'd recommend going to see it all. If you're anywhere close to it in Nashville or in Arkansas. And
it's worth stopping for.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we appreciate you guys watching like we do every week. We're going to honor a fallen hero. And we thanks for watching, because every time you watch, it helps us help vets.
That's right.
So we do appreciate that. And it doesn't cost you anything, so that's a bonus. Free's my favorite price.
Yes.
So you get to watch for free, we get to help vets, so it helps everybody out. But we appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.